Today on the Bandito Says podcast, we're going to talk about YouTube allegedly paying tens of thousands of dollars to podcasters to make video podcasts, a redemption arc for the SE Electronics Dynacaster, and a bunch of other things, so go ahead and stick around. We are starting with some very exciting news coming from Bloomberg. I will link their article in the episode notes if you want to read a little bit more, but allegedly, YouTube is paying between $50,000 and $300,000 to podcasters and podcast networks to begin producing video podcasts on YouTube. Yeah, $50,000 to $300,000. That's a lot of money, especially to start producing video content. I'm going to start by saying I doubt any of us bottom feeders will see a dime of this money, even though we've been producing high-quality video content on the platform for over 6 years. Why would we deserve anything? We don't deserve anything. We're scum. We're bottom of the barrel nothing. Screw us. Why would we get grants from YouTube? Not like we've been doing it for almost a decade. Not almost a decade. 6 years? 7 years? It's a long time. I'm sure Linus gets a bunch of money from YouTube, so I won't include him in my little whiny baby rant. Anyway, why am I discussing this? First off, obviously, it's because I do want to be a whiny baby and say, Google, give me money. YouTube, give me monies. I want monies to make this podcast. I have 2 cameras. That's a lot of money. I invested a lot of money to make this video podcast. Now give me money. I'll say exactly what you want me to say. What if it was that easy? Hey, Google, give me money and I will just repeat anything that you want me to say. What is your opinion on Ukraine and Russia, YouTube? Okay, I will repeat that. Yeah, that would go over really well. I am not ingratiating myself to YouTube, but still, YouTube, give me money. That's the first reason. Second, and seriously, I do think this is a good indicator for YouTube, because if you remember a couple of months ago, I was discussing YouTube's 2022 goals, and a large focus of that entire video and release was Shorts content. They were contributing a lot of money and a lot of resources to Shorts. That made me think YouTube doesn't care about long-form content anymore. They are moving away from that because short-form content on TikTok is blowing up and they want a piece of that pie. They're going to completely ignore longer-form content and focus solely on that. This tells me maybe that's not true, because I'm not sure if you're aware, podcasts are not short-form content. They are long, rambly, nonsensical videos. Hopefully not nonsensical, but very long-form content. It's not short-form. Podcasters do not get directly to the point. We meander and eventually get to the point. That's kind of the appeal of podcasts. It's not overly structured. It's not overly edited. It's not overly clean. It's a bit raw. Can you tell I'm trying not to edit this video? This is a raw video. Not raw, I do still edit sometimes because I don't want to make a complete fool of myself. Like right now, I'm not going to edit at all. But the point is, I think this is actually a good sign that Google or YouTube is putting money into long-form content, into podcasts, to try to get people to produce long-form content. And on the note of long-form content, TikTok just came out with an announcement that they are extending their long-form video to 10 minutes. That seems counter to all of what TikTok is. So maybe long-form content is where the market is going? I don't know. I don't go on TikTok. I don't know what works on there, but 10-minute video? I can't imagine that working on TikTok. I could be completely wrong. Maybe it'll be the biggest platform ever. But 10-minute videos on TikTok on a platform that has really designed itself and acclimated its users to watch 10 to 15-second videos and watch thousands of them, I don't see how 10-minute video fits in there. Also, on a platform that's almost exclusively fed by the algorithm, I don't see how that works. Short-form videos work because if they display a video that you dislike, it's 15 seconds and you just swipe on. But how many people are going to be algorithmically fed a 10-minute video and say, yeah, I'll sit through this 10-minute video? I just don't see that working. But back to the point at hand. YouTube is trying to get podcasters to make video podcasts for their platform. It seems as though they are finally understanding the value of long-form podcast content. Now, YouTube, I've said what you want me to say. Give me money. $50,000, please. I could buy a Rolex fine. No, I couldn't. You can't buy a Rolex if you want to. So no, I wouldn't. I would invest it really well in more microphones to review. In a U47, a modern U47, a modern Elam 251. What else would I get? Imagine. That's what I would do. YouTube, $50,000, please. I want to be the only YouTuber, video YouTuber, podcaster to be using an Elam 251 for spoken word. Pay up, suckers. I'm not going to say exactly what you want me to say, but it'll be fun, won't it? It'll be fun. You can brag about it. Podcaster on YouTube uses the most expensive microphone on the market. Because I don't want a C800G. Do they even make those anymore? I saw that they went out of production and then came back, and I don't know. That's the news. I will link the Bloomberg article if you want to check it out. Hopefully it's true. I hope this is true, and I hope YouTube actually brings good video podcasts to the platform and not a bunch of garbage. But it's probably going to be a bunch of garbage. If you're one of the people getting $50,000, I mean no offense by it, because I don't know if you're getting money. I am making assumptions about who will be getting money, and I hate them already. Let's jump to the next part, which is what I've been testing. He's going to say the thing. You have been listening to it. We are on the SE Electronics Dynacaster. Now, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, I used a Dynacaster, and I got some comments saying, "Yikes, Bandrew, that sounds really bad." And I kind of agreed. And then I did additional recording, and I said, "Yikes, this sounds really bad." It sounded very mid-forward, very hollow in the low end. It sounded like there was some phase cancellation going on in the capsule somewhere. So I contacted SE Electronics because they had sent me that microphone, and I said, "Hey, I think this is broken." They said, "Okay, we'll send you a replacement. You send the broken one back." I sent the broken one back, and I said, don't even send me a new one. And I bought this one from Sweetwater. I am happy to report that the one that I had was, well, I'm not happy about it because it was time that I didn't want to spend going and shipping it back, and it's money that I didn't want to spend buying one. But I am happy to report that the microphone is functioning now, and the old one was broken. The reason I'm happy about it, the SEV7 is one of my favorite microphones. I love that microphone, and when I heard we're putting out a microphone that has a dynamite built in, EQ switches, and it's similar to the V7, I said, amazing. I want it to be good because I love the V7 so much. And turns out it's really good. I really enjoy how this thing sounds. The dynamite is engaged. When I pulled it out of the box, the switches were in the low shelf engaged, and the first high shelf engaged. And that's what I left it at, because I imagine they left it in that setting because that's what they want people to be using, and that's what you're hearing. Low shelf, high shelf 1, dynamite on, Universal Audio X8, gain at 23 dB. 23 dB, that's it for a dynamic microphone. And I think we may be living a bit too close to the edge. We're living dangerously because if I get excited, we're hitting negative 6 dB. That's a bit hot. Bit rich in it. Bit rich in it. Oi! Yeah. I'm living on the edge. I deserve a thick leather jacket and a motorcycle. We're riding down the road. I'm joining a motorcycle gang because I recorded with my gain a little bit too high. Let's jump to what you had to say, and sorry for clicking my tongue, that was disgusting. I have to say, the pushback last week was awesome. There was a lot of pushback against me not liking retailers embedding my videos on their web pages. And I'm glad about it because it made me think a little bit more critically about it. It made me try to understand my position on it, and I still don't understand my position 100%. You'll understand why I'm confused as we go through this. You'll say, he's stupid. He's an idiot. How can he not see the parallels? Why doesn't he have a consistent, logical point of view? I don't know. This thing is not a steel trap. I don't even know what I said 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks. I don't listen to my podcast over and over and over again because I listened to it multiple times while editing. This is not a steel trap. All of it's gone. The first comment comes from Peter, and he says, "There's another bonus for companies embedding your videos instead of producing them on their own. If company XYZ makes a video praising their own product, they will never have the same impact as a video by an independent content creator. The video of the company itself will always just be considered an advertisement, not as information." Peter, thank you very much for the comment, and I agree with you completely. If a company is producing a review of their own product, that is not a review. Nobody should trust that review because it's not a review. A company cannot review their own product. I agree there. But I want to clarify something. Last week, I was not criticizing or complaining or bitching about manufacturers embedding my videos on their website. It was about retailers. And when I say retailers, I mean places like Amazon, Sweetwater, Vintage King. The reason I'm listing those three is because they don't do what I was complaining about. They're in the clear. So I am okay listing them because I know I won't get pushback saying, hey, we have the right to do it, because they're not doing it. So I am using them as an example of what a retailer is, knowing that they will not be accused of this because they're not embedding my videos without my permission. They're not embedding my videos at all, which is a good thing. Although Amazon does now have a feature where you can upload videos to their platform, their rules are incredibly strict about what you're able to say. You cannot just upload a YouTube video because you'll likely say, give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down, subscribe, look in the description. You can't list the price in your you have so many limitations. I tried to upload a couple and it took me 4 attempts to get it approved because I say, here's the price. Like, subscribe. Was it helpful? When I do my comparisons, here's a microphone, it costs this. Here's a microphone, costs this. It was a nightmare. And I don't think I've had a single sale off those videos, so I don't know if I'm going to continue doing it because it was a lot of work. I'm going off on a tangent. My issue was with retailers like Amazon embedding my videos, not the manufacturers. And I view manufacturers embedding my video slightly differently from retailers embedding my video. And I was trying to understand why I view it differently and why I am bothered less by manufacturers embedding versus retailers. I don't know 100% why. Maybe it's because I've already bit the bullet and accepted the fact that manufacturers earn a boatload of money off of my work. I buy microphones or whatever gear I'm reviewing on the open market, therefore they are earning money off of that. Then I am producing a video on that product. They are getting free promotion. Then there are likely going to be people who buy microphones or whatever gear based on my review video. Therefore, they are earning money off of that. That is something I had to come to terms with pretty much day one. I understood full well that companies would be profiting off of my actions, off of the videos that I produce. And I had to be okay with that because I was informing consumers about what products were capable of, what I thought about them, and giving them samples so they can make a more informed decision. So maybe I've just become acclimated to this because I have had to come to terms with this from day one. Also, maybe it's that manufacturers typically don't have direct-to-consumer structures. They don't typically have a buy now button directly next to my video, which makes it a little bit better. Or maybe it's just that this is expected. Because when you look at DVDs, I have one right here, I am going to hold it up to the camera. On the back of it, and typically on the front of it with stickers, they have a review blurb saying, "This is a great movie, you should buy it and watch it right now." And maybe that's just something that I have become accustomed to. I have been trained to see that as something that will happen. The greatest action blockbuster of all time, and I can't even read who wrote it. Let's see if we can read who wrote it. Daily Mail? It's red. It's really hard for me to read, stupid broken eyes. You get the point. Maybe that's what it is. And then when you look at retailers, first off, here's my video embedded on their platform right next to it, buy now. That may put a bad taste in my mouth. Well, I can tell you that does put a bad taste in my mouth. Here's my video, buy now. I get nothing from that. That's the first thing. Secondly, when a retailer makes billions, maybe not billions. I did just see Sweetwater, I think it was $1.3 billion in revenue over 2021. What? What? Over $1 billion in revenue? That's insanity. I didn't realize that they made that much money. But Sweetwater's not the culprit here. Let's say tens of millions. Let's say $100 million. If a company is making $100 million, they have plenty of revenue to pay one of their employees to produce educational content, to produce demo videos of the products that they are selling. But instead of doing that, they are saying, let's go ahead and take that video that somebody else produced, we'll embed that, we don't have to pay anybody. So in theory, it is a much better business move on their part to just take random videos, embed them on their site. Therefore, they don't have to pay anybody. They don't even have to hire a video director. They don't have to hire on-camera talent. They don't have to hire somebody to actually record and edit. They don't have to do any of that. They don't have to pay 10 people to make that demo video. Sweetwater, Vintage King, they do. They actually do that. They pay people to make those videos. And I respect them a lot for that, because they are not just embedding random videos that they find on YouTube and benefiting off of somebody else's work. But again, I understand that this is hypocritical because I'm not as bothered by manufacturers embedding the videos on their websites, but I am bothered by retailers. I don't know. That's the predicament I'm in. I don't understand why I'm bothered by that so much. Maybe it's because I have become, maybe it's all just me being trained by the way things exist. I've become trained by Amazon to understand I can earn money off of the videos that I produce. Retailers, I'm not going to list them, have said, well, we're not going to pay you for it because we don't have to. Maybe that's why it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here, trying to work through it, and sometimes I don't understand why I feel certain ways, but I do, and that's what I'm sharing with you. It just feels like this. I just feel this certain way. Gosh, I sound like such an idiot. Next is a comment from SoundSpeeds. He says, some ask my permission like Cloudlifter and KTech, but others like Deity and Ambient didn't. I think I sent Ambient a picture to show them a boom arm in use, and they went ahead and put it online, but whatever, I don't do YouTube to make money. Now, to be clear, this comment was not directed at me, it was responding to somebody else, but I wanted to include it because I agree with what Alan says, but I also want to push back a little bit. First off, Alan says he does not make YouTube videos to make money. I understand that. I also do not make YouTube videos to make money. I do make money off of YouTube videos, but I don't do it to make money off of YouTube videos. But the reason why I'm pushing back is, even though we don't do it to make money off of YouTube videos, do we make YouTube videos to make money for other people? If we're not doing it to make money, why should other people make money off of our hard work? That's just a question that I have to think through. Why would I be okay with, if I'm not doing it to make money, yes, again, I am making money, but that's not why I do it. If I'm okay with that, why would I be okay with somebody else leveraging my work to make money off of my work? I don't think I should be okay with that. I don't think anybody should be okay with that. As dogs bark outside. See, even they're pissed off about it. Even they're angry about it. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm completely in the wrong here, but if I'm not doing it to make money, why should somebody else be able to make money off of me? I understand why YouTube should be able to make money off of me, because they are hosting my videos. They are developing new algorithms and new features and constantly keeping everything up to date. Providing free video hosting is insane. So I understand why YouTube should be able to make money off of the content that I upload, but some random retailer, musicstore.com, I'm sorry if that's really a URL. I imagine it is, but that's not who I have an issue with. If musicstore.com has they have invested nothing in me producing this content like YouTube is with hosting, development of new features, algorithm, all of that, why should they be able to earn money off of my work? I don't know. So I agree with Alan. I don't do it to make money, but why should somebody else make money off of my work? Next, we have a comment from Audio Haze. He says, there have been companies that have offered me quote-unquote free gear under the premise that they're allowed to clip my reviews for their own social media. I really don't like this. It takes away my credibility and impartiality, and I think this scenario is a similar situation. It paints the review in an improper light. It implies the content exists entirely for profitability and to essentially push the product. No one should repost a review without the creator's permission. This is not all just about selling things. Ricky, thank you very much for the comment. And by the way, if you do not follow Ricky on YouTube, go check out Audio Haze. Great audio education and review videos. And if you don't follow SoundSpeeds on YouTube, go check out SoundSpeeds on YouTube. Great audio education and reviews. Now, I 100% agree with you. If a company emails you and says, we will give you this product free, and we will then publish and clip your review and put it all over social media, I think that's wrong. The reason I think that's wrong is it will potentially alter your approach to the review, because you will think, I'm going to get a bunch of free promotion from this. They're going to clip it and put it all over their social media. So I need to approach it and word it and be kind enough that they will want to publish my clip all over their social media, because that's free promotion. I think that would be wrong. But on the other hand, I have had no agreements with companies, and then after I've published the review, they have clipped it and published that on their social media. I have less of an issue with that, because first off, in the post, they are not linking to hey, buy it right here. They are saying, check out the full review. But secondly, I have had no agreement with them. They did not tell me they were going to do that. So it did not have any impact on my decisions, on my review, because I had no idea they were going to give me any kind of promotion, that they were going to push that in any way, shape, or form. So I think that's the difference here, at least the difference that I see. If they tell you they're going to do it, that will potentially impact your criticisms of it, because you want to be nice, because then you'll get free promotion. But on the other hand, if they do it afterwards and link directly to your video as opposed to having a buy now button, then it doesn't have any possibility of impacting your review, because they never told you they were going to do it before you reviewed it, so you had no reason to alter your opinions. And I think that makes sense. Tell me if I'm wrong. I may be stupid and 100% off base here, but I agree. If they tell you, hey, we'll publish your clip everywhere, that could potentially impact your review. Thank you very much, Ricky. And next comment comes from Austin. He says, I think it depends. I'm a fairly small YouTuber, so right now, exposure for me is more valuable than the small amount of money I may or may not earn from that video on their site. I think, at least in my case, I would be happy to have my videos posted on a prominent company's website because it drives them to my channel. However, if exposure was no longer the issue and I was a well-known name in that particular space, then I might feel the opposite. Austin, thank you very much for the comment. I had to include this because this goes against everything that I was saying, and I think that's really important. This is going to be something that some people will be okay with, others will not be okay with. I know many artists who absolutely oppose the idea of payment via exposure because that's one of the most common things that artists get. Hey, if you draw this for me, I'll post it and you will get payment via exposure. Hey, write this song for me, you'll get payment through exposure. But that's not to say that that's inherently wrong. If somebody believes that their labor is worth that exposure they're getting, that's for them to decide. I can't say, you can't do that, no, that's bad, because it's your time, it's your labor, it's your video production, it's your video as a whole. You can say, yeah, I'm okay with that. And that's your prerogative. I would say, don't hold your breath for any kind of explosive growth or exposure from being embedded on one or two or three different product pages on an online retailer site. Here's a picture, here's a picture, here's a picture, here's a video review. And how many people are going to click through that video, say, oh, here I can click on this little link and it'll take me through onto YouTube and then I can look at who the channel is and subscribe. Doesn't happen. I would venture a guess that I have gained 0 subscribers from all of the videos that are embedded on a retailer's website. So I understand your point, and that's your decision to make. If you are okay with it, more power to you. Go forth, rock and roll, get all the exposure you want, but don't hold your breath because it does not give you any kind of proper explosive exposure. It gives you 1 or 2 views a day, I bet. Thank you very much. Next, we have a comment from L, I guess. The thing is, nobody is forcing you or any other content creator. You know how YouTube works. You are exposing yourself without any guarantees of return. L, thank you very much for the comment, and you are absolutely correct. No one is forcing me to make videos on YouTube. No one is forcing anyone to make videos on YouTube. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I am sure there are some terrible cases where someone is being forced against their will to make videos on YouTube. Something that comes to mind is Marina Joyce. That was the first YouTube conspiracy that I can remember, and it was an amazing time. She reviewed clothing or something, and people heard chains in the background of one of her videos, so they thought that she was chained up and being forced to review clothing. Thank goodness that was incorrect. She was not being held against her will. She was not being forced, and that's a positive thing. But it was very exciting times having a YouTube conspiracy. As a YouTuber, I was very thrilled about that and happy that it ended up being incorrect, because it would have been horrible if she was being held captive. But you are correct. None of us are being forced to make audio gear reviews. But simultaneously, nobody is forcing these music retailers or gear retailers to embed our videos on their platform. They always have the option to hire people to make those videos. This entire idea that just because you're voluntarily taking part in an action, in a hobby, in a task, that you're not able to criticize anything or advocate for better behavior seems quite silly to me. I'm going to take this quite far, but hey, I'm working in a mine. I don't like my head being bashed in by rocks. Maybe the mine company should offer hard hats. Hey, you're voluntarily choosing to work in the mine. You don't have to. If you don't want your head smashed in, just quit. Just go somewhere else. You're voluntarily choosing to work there. Like I said, I know that's an extreme example, but it's to illustrate the point that just because you're making a decision to do some work does not mean that you cannot point out issues going on with that employment, with that work, with that hobby, and wanting it to improve and become better and more beneficial and less, I won't say harmful, but less exploitative. I don't think that's wrong. Just because we're voluntarily deciding to do something, we shouldn't be okay with it being exploitative. There should be advocacy for people not to be exploited. So, although, yes, we are doing it of our own free will, we shouldn't want people to take advantage of us. I don't know. Maybe I'm the crazy one. You're voluntarily playing golf. You should allow people to film you and to make millions of dollars off of you golfing. Maybe not. I don't know. You tell me. Am I the crazy one here for wanting video or audio gear reviewers to not be exploited? Or is it just not exploitative at all for somebody to take your hard work and earn money off of it? I don't know. That's it for what you had to say. Really great pushback. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being challenged. And I found trying to think through it and really understand why I'm okay with certain things and not others very challenging. So thank you for that. And I hope we can continue this conversation in the comments because really, really interesting stuff. This is all ethics. And that's not something that is really discussed in depth on YouTube a lot of times. So I thank everybody for leaving comments like this because this is really important stuff to discuss. So thank you very much. Now let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. All right, if you want to ask a question, if you got questions, go to askbandrew.com. askbandrew.com. There are instructions on how to send in audio, video, and text-based questions. There are unfortunately no instructions on how to make really loud cars shut up, but maybe one day there will be. You can send those in. I do prefer audio and video because then I don't have to read. I'm really bad at reading. There is even a SpeakPipe app embedded, so you can call in from your phone. There's a little record button. You can record right on the website via your phone's microphone. How awesome is that? And I am finally getting around to the SpeakPipe questions. I apologize for the delay. I kind of forgot that it existed. The first voice submission comes from Josh. Take it away, Josh.
Hi, Bandrew. My name is Josh Rosowskis. I'm a disabled content creator with cerebral palsy. I'm recording this question to you on my phone because I'm about to get a brand new computer and be able to return to creating very, very soon. And I wanted to purposely record this question before restarting my podcast and my YouTube channel because I have a very important question that has to do with the style of my voice. As you can hear, even though I have cerebral palsy, I don't have much trouble speaking, hence why I'm comfortable making content. But I am fully aware that the condition causes me to have a very different, some would say weak sounding voice. As such, I've had both a condenser microphone in the past and a dynamic microphone in the past. The last microphone I was using before my last computer broke down was a dynamic microphone. It was the ATR 2500, the dynamic version of the ATR 2100, the black one. I think that's what's called, 2500, if I'm not mistaken. And then the one I was using before that was the Rode NT USB. And then the very first one I used was, of course, the Blue Yeti, because who doesn't start out with the Blue Yeti? Now, I picked up, despite the ATR 2500 still working. When I knew I was getting a new computer, I picked up the Elgato Wave 3 because I think, personally, from my own ears inside my headphones, that a condenser microphone sounds better for my voice. I think a dynamic microphone actually takes away some of the little bit of detail that my voice has. But I am aware that a dynamic microphone is better for an untreated room. And me, I do have to have a refrigerator in my room because of my disability. I cannot use a full-size refrigerator. So I use a college refrigerator that is located in my room, but it is not next to my microphone. And I usually keep my gain down pretty low, so it's very hard to hear in most of my recordings. But that is one reason I got a dynamic microphone, though, was to eliminate that being picked up almost entirely. So my question is, now that you've heard my voice, do you think I made a mistake getting the Elgato Wave 3? Should I return it? Or do you think that I was right in thinking that a condenser microphone, because it picks up a little more detail, would actually help my voice? Or, as I said, should I stick with the ATR microphone and stick with the dynamic microphone? Thank you for all you do. Love your work.
Josh, thank you very much for the voice submission. If I am understanding correctly, you were using the Audio-Technica ATR 2500, then the Rode NT USB, and then the Blue Yeti. You recently picked up the Elgato Wave 3. You have a refrigerator due to your disability, and you were asking if you've made a mistake by getting a condenser microphone over a dynamic microphone. No, you have not made a mistake. First off, you're exactly right with the idea of condensers picking up more detail than a dynamic microphone, and as you put it, you have a little bit of a weaker voice. I think that added detail will absolutely help with the intelligibility of your voice. So in that regard, I think you're right on the mark. Secondly, you said something, and I think this is the most important thing that you said. You said, I like the sound of the condenser microphones more than the dynamic microphones. You could end the question right there. I don't need to say anything more. You like how you sound on condensers more than dynamics? That's the end of the story. You go with a condenser because you have to like how you sound on the microphones. That is the biggest determining factor in choosing the microphone. But I will go on because it would be boring if I just stopped there. As far as the background noise, you may pick up more, or you will likely pick up more with the Wave 3, but you have 100% justification for having a refrigerator next to you, and if anybody is butthurt by it, send them my way. I'll tell them to F themselves. I have a refrigerator because I need that because I have a disability. I'm so upset that you have a little bit of background noise from your refrigerator. That is unacceptable. Send them my way. I will end them. That's not a threat of violence, to be clear. So I think you are absolutely fine getting the microphone that you think you sound best on, even if it does ultimately mean there is a little bit of additional background noise from your refrigerator. It's not as though you're saying, oh, I'm a little bit toasty, I'm a little bit warm, I'm going to turn on a fan full blast right into the microphone. It's not as though you're doing it for that reason, just because you're being a little bit uncomfortable. No, you are doing it because you have a fully justified reason. So if anybody complains about it, tell them to shut up. Go forth, rock and roll, enjoy the Wave 3. Let me know if you're still using the Wave 3 or if you decided to go a different route. Josh, thank you very much for the comment, the voice submission, and I hope the content is going very well. Next, we have a voice submission from Portugal. I don't believe I have his name, so take it away, gentleman from Portugal.
Hey, Bandrew, how are you? I hope you are doing fine. Greetings from Portugal. So I have 3 problems. One of them is that I'm completely noob with audio equipment, and the other 2 are basically more technical stuff. So since last year that I've been working for different companies, different countries, I've been trying to step up my audio equipment since I've been doing some kinds of presentations and commenting over some videos for the companies and stuff. And based on your recommendation and some others I've seen, I bought a Behringer XM8500. So I have two problems with this. One of them is I could never get it to sound, I think, fine. It always sounded too boomy for my taste. I don't know if I'm being overly critical because I'm not used to hearing my voice. But whenever I hear the microphone with someone else, it sounds phenomenal. But when I hear it with myself, it sounds bad. I don't know if it's the tone of my voice, if it's my EQ settings, which are not a lot because I also don't know how to EQ properly. But I basically just took some of the mid frequencies nasally, as you mentioned. I boosted the air a little bit, and basically that's it. And I still don't know if this sounds all right. You know, maybe I'm being overly critical. Please let me know. And also my second problem is I don't know if it's a matter of volume normalization or whatever that is, but whenever I'm recording a video through OBS, it sounds much quieter than what you are hearing right now through this clip. So I don't understand how the levels work actually. And whenever I'm talking over a video, it always sounds like my voice gets lost in the whole picture. It sounds like it's not really understandable. I cannot understand myself when I'm listening back to it. Some people told me it was a matter of EQing because of some frequencies could overlap on each other. And some people have told me that it was a matter of raising my microphone's volume. But, you know, all of this sounds a little bit, I don't know, strange for me. So I would really like to know your take on this subject. It would really help me out. Thank you very much, Bandrew.
Thank you very much for the voice submission. I really, really appreciate it. To summarize, you said you are trying to set up your audio or to up your audio game. You got the XM8500, but you don't like how you sound. You think that you sound too boomy or too bassy. Let me just say, listening to your voice submission, I had no complaints about it. It didn't come across too boomy or bassy or muddy. Sounded perfectly fine. You were perfectly audible, intelligible. I did not have any issues with that. I would not be complaining about that. So you are on the right track. You will likely be fine-tuning your audio and your EQ over years to come. You will never be okay with it, and that is the disease of being interested in audio. Secondly, you say that when you're recording with video, your voice sounds too quiet compared to the audio from the video clip, and you want some input or advice here. The first thing that I'll recommend is making sure that your speaking volume is a bit louder, a bit more dominant than that of the video file. This, of course, assumes that what you're saying is the most important part of the content. If that's the case, I imagine it is. Make sure that your microphone is a few dB louder than that of the video, because if the video is a little bit quieter, that's going to be fine. Doesn't need to be equal level to your voice because it's not the primary content. Second thing you can do is related to EQ, as your friends recommended. What I would recommend is adding an EQ to the video file, to the video source, and doing a fairly broad mid cut. And that will, I'm not saying do 10 dB cut in the mids, maybe 2 dB, 1.5 dB in the mids, and that will make room for your voice. Look at the EQ, the spectrogram for your voice in an EQ, and see where the most information is, and use that to cut the video file's audio. So it makes a little bit more room in the mids for your voice to pop out. And the third suggestion is going to be probably the most helpful and the most complicated. I am going to recommend setting up a sidechain on the video file. What you're going to do is add a compressor to the video file, and then there's an option for sidechain. What that does is it tells the compressor what audio source is going to trigger the compressor. So what you'll do is put the compressor on the video file, then for the sidechain input, you will select your microphone. That way, when you start speaking, the threshold of the compressor will be exceeded and it will start compressing the video file. So it will decrease the level of the video file, making room for your microphone to pop through, to be more dominant, to actually stand out. And I think all three of those will help you. I will link an article that I found about how to use sidechain compression in OBS. I don't really use OBS, so I don't know 100%, but I will link that article in case you are interested. And I hope that helps you out. Make sure your microphone is a few dB louder. EQ a bit of mids out of the video audio file. And third, add a sidechain compressor to make sure that your voice is dominant while you're speaking over the video file. Next, we are doing it again. We are doing another movie of the week. And if you saw the box that I held up to show you a review on a DVD box, you will know what it's going to be. Let me hold this up again. Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Not only is this one of the greatest action movies of all time, I think this is a nearly perfect film. And I'll walk through a bunch of different aspects. Let me just sing a rhythm for you. The fact that I can do that rhythm and you hear the theme music playing after it tells me that the theme music is incredible. You just need to hear a single rhythm. That's very rare to have that kind of cultural impact, to have a theme song. I shouldn't call it a theme song, to have a score that is so uniquely Terminator 2. Incredibly well done. Now, when I went into this, I've seen this probably 15 times. I tried to watch this through new eyes, and the reveals in this were amazing. Because I already knew what happened. After seeing it the first time, I knew exactly what was going to happen. But watching it through new eyes, after not watching it for maybe 7 years, you really start to see how clever all of the reveals are. Oh, wow, there are 2 time travelers. Is one of them going to be a man? Is one of them going to be a... Who's who? Oh, I know Arnold. He's the bad guy. Oh, now there's a police officer. One of the Terminators, one of the time travelers is a police officer. How cool is that? Oh, now I know who the bad guy is. Oh, the bad guy can do that. Oh, the bad guy can do that. The reveals in this thing on first viewing are amazing. If you rewatch this, try to view it through new eyes. Try to forget everything that you know is going to happen and just go in and say, okay, this is all that I know about these characters. I know nothing is coming up. I know that John Connor is living with foster parents. What happens next? I have no idea. It makes it so much more enjoyable and mind-blowing. Then you have an amazing set of setups and payoffs all throughout the movie. There's one that just stood out to me. It indicates an incredible attention to detail. The T-800 tells John, oh yeah, the T-1000 cannot turn into a bomb. He cannot turn into a gun because those are complex machines that have moving parts and chemicals. He cannot do that. Then we jump to the T-1000 in the insane asylum, in the criminally insane hospital, whatever it is. And the T-1000 transforms into one of the security guards. Once he transforms, he's wearing the clothes, he has the belt on, he has the handcuffs, he has everything, the baton, the nightstick. And then he reaches down and grabs the security guard who we just killed. He grabbed the security guard's gun. They didn't have to do that. They could have just been lazy and said, oh, he transformed, he has the gun. But we learned T-1000 is not able to transform into complex machines, including chemicals, which a gun has. It has gunpowder, chemicals. So he had to reach down and grab the gun off the person he just killed, although everything else he was transformed into. It's just that level of detail and setup and payoff. I loved it. Then you have the pacing in this movie, and it is nearly perfect. Here is some insane action, exposition, insane action, exposition. One of the best action scenes, exposition. Okay, that's the end. Just kidding, here's more insane action, then conclusion. Oh, did you want to feel something? Here's a thumbs up. As I'm not going to say it. Yeah. Nearly perfect movie. I didn't even mention the effects. The visual effects and the practical effects 100% hold up. There is not a single effect that looks dated, that looks crappy. All of it is flawlessly executed. If you haven't seen this, watch it. Watch Terminator and then watch Terminator 2. Terminator 1, I really enjoyed. I had forgotten almost all of it. Really an enjoyable movie. Much more 80s feeling. Very 80s. I think I may have liked the score of Terminator 1 more than Terminator 2 because I like that 80s vibe. I love the synthesizers in Terminator 1 score, but that's beside the point. Go watch both of them. Incredible. James Cameron, right? Was this James Cameron? Am I completely wrong? James Cameron. Okay, I was right. Well done. That's all that I've got for you today. I appreciate you coming by, listening to this. You're the best. I hope you have an amazing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next Sunday, I will talk at you. I love you. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you on a later date. Bye-bye.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.